All right, tonight we're looking at properties that came back on the market. Okay, why on earth would we do that? Well, because what happens is homes go under contract, then they have something happen, and they come back on the market. Typically, it has to do with inspections, something that happens. So there's some beef that occurred between the buyer and the seller, and that property came back on the market, but it was good enough and marketable enough to get sold. So I have a list in right here. I'm just going to show you close up. So this is my analytics dashboard that you've probably seen before. If we've met, typically, if you're watching this, we probably met at one of my open houses or at a networking event somewhere. But what this dashboard is my custom made dashboard on Power BI, okay? Microsoft's Power BI system. So it's customized, made specifically for residential real estate analytics in the Houston market area. I know, like here, this is a better picture of that. So we've got all the Houston market area. We have our actives that we're looking at right now. There's 35,906 actives in the list of what's available for you to choose from. We've got 44,000 sales that closed in the last 6 months up to today. And we are tracking things in the flood zone. You got flood area. Look at that. Those are blank, but we got flood zones here. I didn't get to process the flood zones for these specific listings. But we have the flood zones tracking here as well. So we are tracking flood zones. And we also have equity and deal columns where we're looking for positions with equity. If obviously something like this, these are like teardowns. So we're not really going to have equity and deal positions on those. But some of them we're going to have good deal, arbitrage opportunity. And if it's arbitrage, that means the surrounding area is priced much higher than that listing itself, and there's could be a really good opportunity with that. So those are kind of like heat map kind of things that will help you kind of help you find good deals quicker. So this is something you could do. So you could arrange by equity to where we're looking at only things with arbitrage. Find that stuff. There's a lot of, anyways, it's there. So if I order it the other way, we're going to have no arbitrage on top. So it's alphabetical. But these are supposed to be filled in. I'm just going to tell you right now, I did the data set pool with the actives. The ones that didn't come through the first time was these really cheap properties here. And so those didn't get processed. That's why there's blanks there. But you will see in the future, those will be processed. It was a little hiccup for today. So how nice, right? You get to see a hiccup. Well, whatever. It's data anomalies. They happen sometimes, but it's pretty rare. It just happened to happen this time. Anyways, we're getting to it because we're not looking at this properties. We don't look at this stuff anyways. It's not relevant to me anyhow, this stuff. So what I want to look at is we have these listings, right? So we got lists here back on market, okay? So here's a back on market list of 72 that came back on the market within the last 24 hours. So we got their MLS numbers. All right, we have their price per square foot here, their list prices, and you can see their various prices. And I have them arranged by per square foot, being 20 on the top because that's the lowest, and then they get more expensive from there. And as we scroll to the right, we can see days on market, the addresses for those to help us, find those properties as we look. And then we got price drops. So we've had almost 500 price drops in the last 24 hours. And these are arranged by ones that have decreased the most, 91% price drop on this property, which is asking $365,000. Zoned to Mark Twain Elementary School, 136 days in the market in Alvin. Okay, so that's had a 91% price drop from the original list price. This one, 90% price drop from the original list price. Okay, so these ones are probably accidental. This might have been like 3 million $65,000, and then they realized, whoops, that was an accident. So then they fixed it, moved the decimal over, and now it says the appropriate price. But nevertheless, in the system, it records as a price drop, not as a price correction. So that's probably why you're seeing 90% here. That would make a lot of sense. So that's not realistic. These ones here, about 25%, that makes a lot more sense. All right. You got a $299,000 list price on a home that dropped 25%. This one, 465 on a home that dropped 25%. That's in Sealy, 24%, and it goes down from there. So this list is showing you the properties that have dropped the most as of the last 24 hours in price, so that maybe you can find some good opportunities where a lot of zealous sellers decided to list too aggressively, and they have been reducing price and therefore costing them a lot of time on the market. This one, 465 days. That's insane. So you could find some gems here. We got the coming soon list. There's 53 of those. So these are properties that have not hit the market yet and will soon within the next 2 weeks. So these just came on the market as coming soon in the last 24 hours, and they have up to 14 days to go active on the market or to be withdrawn. But these are coming soon, and they are not, it's not something you're going to find on Zillow or anything like that. All right. So right now, though, I'm looking at back on markets. That's the theme for today. We're looking at back on markets as part of our home search here. But we're not going to use this list. We're going to come back to this dashboard to be able to analyze specific back on markets. But we're not going to focus on the list from here. Instead, we're going to use Matrix. So let me show you. Go to Matrix here. Let's see here. Drawing a blank. Okay. Yeah, hard.com. So let's go ahead and log in. All right, cool. And then I'm going to go into HAR. So this is the matrix, what we use to, look up properties and stuff like that. But I'm going to look at the back on market. So see, there's 255 back on market. All right. So see here, this property here was pending, continue to show, and then it went active. All right. This one was option pending, and then it went active. You see, I'm going to actually arrange by list price. Okay. The reason why is because I don't usually work the really low price stuff. I'm typically working not even this price, but I'm saying like my average sale price is around 500, 600,000. And I help home buyers, mostly home buyers. So that's why we're looking for turnkey type stuff. But there could be good investment opportunities in those higher price ranges or in those areas where homes sell for $600K, but you can buy a remodel opportunity for $300K. So here we've got, we're looking at option pending that went active, all right? And this is at 16 Lakeway Drive, 75032. So this is somewhere where I'm probably not going to sell that house. Here's one that's Glendower Court. That's in the River Oaks area, 2211 Avalon Place, 77019. That's more my alley right there. This is listed by Martha Turner. It was option pending, went active. So that one came back to market. They're asking 2.4. Let's take a closer look at this. Oh, here it is. Okay, so I've seen this property actually. And you can see there's been a lot of time on market on this house. The house size is 4,953 square foot, but the lot is fairly small, 5,000 square foot. Now we are in Glendower Court, which puts us in the River Oaks area. I'm going to show you here in a second on the map. So let's go to map here. All right, and we can see like it's tracking these regions as well because they have a data share agreement with those metropolitans. But I'm just looking more for this one here. So 2.395. So you can see where it's at. Let's see. Actually, I'm going to keep it on satellite. So it's central area, inner loop. So I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to see where this lot is at. So see, it's north and south facing. People like that. excuse me, it looks like there's some commercial over here. So maybe this whole thing is commercial right here. Some townhomes and things like that here. So parking could be a little difficult. There are sidewalks, so that's good. All the way around. It's a middle lot, so it's not a corner unit, which I don't like corner units at all. It is Montrose, so you can't really, expect too much to get away from commercial that much. So this seems kind of insulated nicely. This is all the Glendower Court region right here. Then this is Avalon Place right here, which that will take you over to River Oaks over here. So that's a pretty good spot. But 2.395 I think is rich for a 5,000 square foot lot. Maybe in Westview you can do that. But here I don't really see that happening. And also it's not River Oaks, okay? This is Avalon Place subdivision, so that's not even River Oaks. River Oaks is actually over here. So I would say that this is almost more like the Montrose version of River Oaks Glendower Court, but it is zoned to River Oaks Elementary School, so that is a huge plus. It's an A-rated school. So I cannot approve this purchase because at 2.4, it's a super small lot, and it is not quite River Oaks, right? So I'm going to pass on that one. They came back on the market, but I'm going to pass on that. It's not really a good deal. Let's go back here. No, let's go back. Yeah, let's go back to... Actually, we could use this map to find something. Let me see. Satellite. Let's go back to map here. All right, so now when we're looking around, we see that these are all price reductions. We got a 449 here at 1353 Studer. This is the Rice Military Area. Let's see if this makes any sense at 449. But before we do that, I like to use a acronym that I coined called El Paseo. The first one is location. That's the El Paseo. The first letter is location. So zooming in, immediately I see a hefty problem here, and that is that it runs right up against this railroad. And for you novice home buyers, okay, I've been doing this 13 years, so take it from me. For the novice home buyers, this is not a good purchase. It's not a good purchase. Even if 449 seems cheap for the area, it's not a good purchase. Do not buy something that's right next to the railroad. All right, it's got to be more than 100 meters from the railroad. This is way too close. So we're not going to do that. We're going to pass on that one. Okay, come on. I'm looking for a price reduction gem, not these price reduction handicap lots. I don't like it. Okay, so here's one that appears to be 11th Street and Herkimer. Okay, in the Heights. Everybody likes the Heights. Heights is good. Heights is good. Hey, by the way, the chat is open. So if you... Oh, thank you, Andrietta. Appreciate your comment. That it's cool to see. Yeah, it is cool. I think it's cool. I take more of an analytical approach to real estate. So I'm looking at these listings, and then I do the analysis on the dashboard here, which is my specific dashboard. Nobody else is using that. But that's how I analyze these properties. So this one, I would say the good news on this is... Oh, and by the way, the reason why I'm streaming this is because I do this anyways. I figured I might as well stream it. Just in case, right? I'm in this business to get clients. And so you might as well see what I do, and then hopefully we get to work together in the future. But this property at 639, see, this one is not a corner lot, but it looks like there may be some commercial back here. Let's go to satellite view. Yeah, there's some sort of, I don't know what this is. Like, I don't know. Some sort of like, maybe auto repair or something like that. But it is the Heights. It's not a whole lot you can do about stuff like that. So let's see. At 639, that's actually not a bad price for the Heights region. So if I pull this up, let's go ahead and take a look at it for that. Oh, look at that. Days on market, 386 days. Wow. Now, just so you guys know, as a consumer, typically you're going to see 20 days on the market. You're going to see that and think, oh, it hasn't been on the market very long. This number here is what we agents see, and that's going to be your cumulative time on market. So that's, it goes off and on and off and on the market because they take the listing down and they put it back up. So they try to fool you with this 20, and that's not true. It's actually been on the market forever. So if we look at this one and we see Property Archive, and they actually had a contract here where they went option pending at 649, but then they went back on the market within 3 days. So they probably did the inspection and found something that they didn't like, terminated this deal, and then they relisted the same day, but at a lower price, withdrew it, and then today it came back on the market. So that's back on market today, October 27th. So it's back on the market, but with no significance, right? But they did have a contract on this house at one point, so they probably do have an inspection report that benefits you. Also, they probably did some repairs and replaced some things in order to handle that situation. So most likely you're getting a better version of this house right now. That's why I like the back on market options. So when we look at location, we try to figure that out. And I bet a big problem that we're having with this one is that it is really close to commercial. That's the 11th Street. This house is your buffer to 11th, which is not enough. You want to be like 5 lots away from the main street. So 11th Street is the problem for this. And also it backs up to that like auto repair place behind it. So that's going to be a significant problem. But just because I'm curious, let's see what the interior looks like. By the way, this house was built in 2008, which was an ass long time ago. It is. 2008 was forever ago now. I know time flies. It's crazy, but that's what it is. Now, it has a private driveway, but doesn't look like it's usable. Look at where the gate's at. Like, that's going to chop your car in half. Doesn't make a lot of sense. So this... I like the garage door. I like that there's no stucco. All right. This is like a hardy plank or a cement board stuff here. So that's actually really good. I do like the driveway gate, though, because you can still close it in. So that's appreciable for sure. The interior, I'm going to give you guys some lessons here, or you one person that's watching this. But, there's other people that watch it because this is recorded, by the way. So I send my clients here to watch this stuff. But so you're going to get some pointers here, especially some dated aspects of the market. First of all, this is so 2008. I'm pointing this out to you right now. This is so 2008 to have the cook or the cooking space essentially in the island. That's so 2008, and nobody likes it. Now, to credit this house, there's an actual hood vent. That is a huge benefit. So that kind of offsets the problem. But generally speaking, people don't like it. Furthermore, this is electric. That is not a gas. Is it possible they have gas connection? Maybe. But it's a tragedy they're not using gas if they have gas. But this should be gas. But people do not like electric. Especially in Houston. I mean, we have storms and stuff. At least the gas will work if the power goes out. All right, let's look at some more pictures. We do have a backyard that backs up to this noisy commercial thing, whatever, dumpy place that is. It looks pretty good condition. Let's take a look at this floor plan. Okay, so let's look real fast at this garage. You might not be able to see it because it's really tiny, but pay attention to the garage size, y'all, when you're looking at houses. Okay, one thing you can check is the floor plan if they have one, or you can, pull your truck in there. If you're driving a truck. If you're not driving a truck, just pay attention to the dimensions. Nowadays, especially nowadays, these builders are building small garages. Small. I'm talking about like less than 20 by 20. Ideally, you want to be 20 plus by 20 plus. Okay, so that your guide should be 20 plus by 20 plus. do not fall in love with the house so much so that you discount how the importance of the size of the garage. It is so important. Think about it. You're buying this house for your future value, not just yourself. Like you might drive a small car and you're fine with it, but you got to think about the future. That a small garage, you can't change it. It's permanent, and that's a problem always. So this garage, fortunately, though, I guess because it was built in 2008, because this is like it's a fairly new thing now, but it's like 17 wide, which actually that's small. That is small. 17 wide is pretty not that good. Okay, and then 22 long. Now that's good. That means it's going to fit a truck. Okay, so that's nice, but it's not wide enough. That's my problem with this. Okay, it's not wide enough, and so I would say that would be the biggest problem. Looking at the floor plan, we can see here the kitchen's towards the back of the house, living room's in the back of the house. What else? Yeah, and then the bedrooms are pretty small, 10 by 12 here, 11 by, what is that, 10? I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to see it, and I can't zoom in. It's not letting me. So you got one single walk-in closet. Yeah, so generally this has got the 2008 vibes in it, and for $639, I would not go for that. So that's probably one of the other reasons why it's still on the market. People are just really wanting homes that are more feeling like now, have the 2024, 2025, even 2026 vibes in the house. It pays to remodel, y'all. It pays to remodel. Unfortunately, fortunately, at Compass, which is where I'm at, Compass, we have a program called Compass Concierge, where we will actually finance your remodel work to make it or to bring it into the 2025 timeframe. So think about that. Okay, here's something that came back on the market, but I will say that this is probably in the flood zone. Notice how we have White Oak Bayou here. And it's, yeah, let me take a look at the flood zone here. Map, layers here, flood zones. Okay. All right, yeah, so fortunately it's outside of the flood zone. So when we're looking at X or we're looking at an orange space here, this house is actually outside the flood zone. Yellow is X500. So as long as you're outside of the purple, then it won't require flood insurance. So the goal is to stay out of the purple and even out of the yellow if possible. But orange is actually good. So let's take a look at this, because I will say location-wise, which is the first letter of my acronym, that it is an interior lot, which is good. It's flood zones. Okay. So, and it's not in the 100-year floodplain. So it's an interior lot, which is good. It's facing generally north and south, which is also favorable. Let's take a look at pricing, right? So this house, so location is good. Next thing would be to look at pricing. 4207 Marlborough Drive. So we go here. We go to Marlborough Drive. Okay, let's see if we can pull it up here. Marlborough. Is it Marlborough? Let me see. Marlborough. Okay, they must have come online after I updated this. So let's do it like this then. I have the let's see. Let's go to let's open it up. Let's go to Property Archive. Okay, so see, this one was option pending, which means it had a contract, and then it went active today, 27th. So it was only on the market 14 days. All right, so here's what we're going to do, how we're going to analyze this number. So we can go by market area, Oak Forest West area. We could also go by the subdivision, and I could also go by the school zone, Stevens Elementary. So here's what I'm going to do with that. I'm going to go Stevens, let's go by the school, Stevens Elementary. Let's see what the numbers look like for Stevens Elementary. See, so it's zooming in to this region, but it's actually this side, not this side, right? So we can fix that by going to Oak Forest, west side, and see that carves out just this area. So that's all I'm trying to care about. And really this subdivision here is what I really care about. But this is like a similar subdivision. Like Mangum Manor is this one over here. So we could keep those. Let's do let's make sure we're doing similar lot sizes. So they've got to be on lots at least 6,000 square foot. This way we're looking at, you know, full lot size homes. And then we can also see that it is 1,700 square foot in size. So let's put that in. Let's put a range of 1,500 to, we'll put a top of 2,000. So let's just look at homes. Okay, see, there's only one similar house, and it sold for $485. And this was a bad decision by this buyer. So bad. Why? Because look at it. It backs up to 43rd. That is so bad. So this buyer is going to have hell on earth when they try to put this thing up for sale in the future. So very, very bad. So I'm not getting many results here. So what I might want to do is expand this a little bit. Let's go 1,400 square foot. And it looks like I got a few sales. Okay, cool. And then let's go 270 days on markets. Let's go back 9 months. All right, this is looking better. Okay, so we've got over the course of the last 9 months of sales, we've got sales here. We got 2 bedroom, 3 bedrooms here, and then the 4 bedrooms are here. And of course, if I hover over any one of these, I see some more details. Like this one had a lot size of about 7,480 square foot. The house was built in 1960. It took 38 days to sell that one. It closed for $490. So we can see that this is the range of sales, which is shown here in the gauge, 260,000 to 490,000. So based on the distribution of sales, my system estimates a market value for the criteria of this home at $474,000 or $295 per square foot. So at 474 or 295, they're asking 499 or 292. So the price itself at 499 is too high by about $25,000. And that probably is where this contract was. It was probably around 475. They started way too high. They started at 550. Now the house last year sold, so this is a flip clearly. It sold cheap at 325. After just 4 days on the market, it sold. So it went fast. So then this guy remodeled it, listed it for $549 a year ago, and has not sold it yet. And now they're at $499, which is getting close. But 474 is the magic number on this house. That's where I could say, hey, that's okay. So now that we know what the market value is for this house at 474, we could take a look at the aesthetics, right? So when we look at El Paso as the acronym, we got the location, price, which we figure to be 474, and now aesthetics. When we look at aesthetics, we're looking at the pictures. That's it. It's easy. We go step by step here. So we're looking at this island. We look at the floors. Okay, the floors look cheap as hell. I don't like those floors. They're cheap, cheap, cheap. I don't like those cabinets. Cheap as hell. I mean, it's like a bird's nest in here. Cheap, cheap, cheap. It really is. These are Lowe's type of handles. The cabinets are Lowe's type of cabinets. We got quartz countertops, chopboard, and that island is small as hell. It doesn't even function really. Okay, curb appeal is pretty nice though. I got to give it that. I like the brick, and then I like the wood combination. The roof is cheap as hell. If you look at that, it's not even like a 35-year roof or anything. The floor is that vinyl plank or whatever, cheap ass stuff. A lot of whites, so you're looking at your grays and whites. It's very 2020 style. Let me see here. That's a kind of an awkward shaped bedroom, but roomy. Two sinks. Okay, living room is not very spacious. Okay, so that must be the front door coming in. All right. I mean, you can work with that. It is an entry level type house, but that kitchen is weak as hell. Completely weak. Yeah, like they probably should have taken this out and done more cabinets or something. It's not really that good. Dining room looks good. So cabinets, like I said, basic. This setup is bad. This should have been like a hood vent. Yeah, this should have been a hood vent system, not this like, apartment complex looking thing. I don't know why some of these builders go cheap, but no wonder why it sits on the market for a year, because they do stuff like this. You could do basic stuff, but at least make it quality, right? So, yeah, I've kind of got a problem with that. I like the spacious closet though. They did good with the bathrooms. I'll give them points on that. The laundry stackable, yuck. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Not a fan of stackables. Backyard is pretty clean, but that covered, this looks terrible. They should have fixed this wavy looking stuff. That roof, as I mentioned, bad. I wonder how old that roof is. Beware though. Roofs are important. If it's an old ass roof, then you're going to have a lot of ass problems. You will. The lender doesn't want to lend on an old ass roof. So you got to pay attention to the age of the roof, quality of the roof. That roof looks pretty beat, so I'm a little worried about that. 2-car garage in the back, that's good, but that concrete's dank, right? It's level, so I'll give it some points there. But this is a cheap remodel job. It's really bad, actually. I bet they didn't even do the sewer lines. They probably didn't even do the sewer lines. It says 2020 HVAC replaced in 2020 and roof in 2018. So the roof is several years old, but it's like the cheapest version of a roof you could get. So it's already beat to crap. Not in a flood zone, never flooded, no HOA. Okay, those are pluses. I don't see anything about plumbing though. See it here. It says extensively remodeled, new windows, new French doors, new cabinets, new flooring, new appliances, new tankless water heater, new sprinkler system and landscaping, updated plumbing and electrical. So they need to expand on this aspect, because how much plumbing, how much electrical, right? 1950s Charmer has tons of desirable features. Right. Shepherd Forest, it's a good neighborhood. It's just surrounded by a bunch of trash. Unfortunately, it's just, and when I say trash, it's just run down apartments and stuff. Like, it's not, if you got a TikTok channel, there's this guy that does he goes to apartment complexes and talks smack about them. And this is an area where you'd find a lot of that stuff. So see, it doesn't say anything about the plumbing under this slab. So I would suspect that wasn't done. And that's very expensive, especially for a 1960 house. Okay, back to the search. That's a no. But I figured we could take that opportunity as a learning opportunity there. Okay, what else we got out here in the Houston market area? I generally work the central and west region out here. My residence is over here in this area. And so I generally work this area here. But we do have some other stuff. We have a third ward item over here, which is actually in Riverside Terrace. And at only $184.9 could be a good rental. This is MLK Junior Park, and that goes right to University of Houston, which currently right now is ranked 22 in the football program and number 2 in the basketball program. And all their sports programs are actually doing really good. 5026 Marietta Lane. Let's take a closer look at $184,900. Property archive. Let's take a look. So it was an option pending. It was under contract, and they came back on the market today, the 27th. 184.9, 59 days on the market, and it looks like they, previously purchased this a year ago. Here's another year ago situation. Jesus, 175 is what they paid for it, and then they put it on the market within just 5 months. I wonder why they did that. Did they try to lease this thing? No, I don't see any leases. Okay, so they put it on the market 5 months later. Maybe they just did some quick remodel work on it. Who knows? But here's the house. Has a pretty nice curb appeal. Getting a closer look here, like what is going on with the fascia board here? I don't know. But decking looks like it's not terrible. Let's see. Looking inside the house, very basic interior. This is probably vinyl planks here, or even peel and stick. I don't know. You got the textured ceilings, yuck. Orangey light, yuck. Cocoa walls, what are they doing? We've got your gas range, so got to appreciate that. Formica countertops, what are you doing? What's going on here? They pretty much did nothing, maybe painted. Okay, that fence looks new. They got lighting on the fence. Okay. I actually like the location, but I don't like the house. It's a 1950 house. Not a fan of it for 184.9. It looks like they're not a fan of it either because they're trying to get rid of it, and it's been a year. What do they got over here? We got something in South Main. Okay, this is an interesting option because this is a neat little community here. $476,950, 4-bedroom, 4-bath. This community called Fannin Station, which is upscale housing. Upscale townhouses, freestanding houses, a whole mix of that. There is the Amtrak station here, which takes you straight to your med center. So that's why you got a lot of like med center personnel that live here. So this could be a good investment option, or something like that. 2013 build. So take a close look at that. So it is a freestanding house. It's got that rooftop deck view of the lake. It's the circle kind of main area, which is the ideal spot to be. This is phase 1, 2013. Over here is phase 2. I've worked this region since they opened, so I know a good amount about it. This is In Town Homes, which is a highly reputable. Frank Liu is the builder, highly reputable. So 2,977 square foot house, 1,513 square foot lot, 2013. But look at your HOA. Your HOA is substantially high, 3,350 annually per month here. So question is it worth it? Okay, so it could be worth that. Here's some main things in terms of location. We talked about how it has access to the med center. That's important. But it's also a corner lot, or it's an edge unit. So that's actually a great thing. So I'd say location-wise, this is good within the community. So let's look at pricing before getting the pictures, because otherwise, pricing is going to be an issue. Could be an issue, and then there's no point to look at the pictures. So yeah, 6 days on the market. Psych, it's actually 55. All right. 160 per square foot. That's actually cheap. So that is about within the median price per square foot of any house across Houston. But it's even lower, I think, for Fannin Station here. So let's see if that makes any difference. Let's reset this. Okay, guys. By the way, I'm a realtor here. So if you see anything you like, or you want to start your journey, your purchase journey, your search, give me a call. Let's work together. I want to get you the best house at the right price, and nobody better to do that than moi. Okay, my phone number is at the bottom there, so take that number down, save it. Make sure you follow, so that way you get notification of the next time I go live. I'm trying to do these routinely, daily, multiple times a week. Okay, Fannin Station. Let's take a look here. If we have Fannin Station to go off of, we do. Fannin Station. There it is. All right. So in the last 6 months, there was actually there was 7 sales in the last 6 months here, with the median sale price of $425. But for a $425 house, you're looking at a house that's 2,400 square foot or $165 a square foot. So this home being priced at $476. That is a reasonable ask price. Good lot location. Okay, so we know the number is good. So now let's look at the pictures. Okay, lot location, great, like that. It appears to be kind of north and south facing too, so that's good. So here's the house. It's got a mix of brick and stucco, which really adds a higher level of elegance. But stucco is problematic in Houston, so you just want to get that inspected. Inspections are not cheap, by the way. On the entry, what do we got? 8-foot ceilings, which is kind of weak. Natural stone travertine floors. First floor bedroom, but it's really big bedroom, so that's nice. Okay, let's see what else we got through here. What is that? Granite countertops, perhaps? All right, let's take a look further. So, yeah, very 2013 style. The house has what? 12-foot ceilings, 11, 12-foot ceilings here. I don't think those are 42-inch cabinets. Those are probably like 38 to 40-inch cabinets. This is not a hood vent. That would be better instead of this apartment style thing they got going on there. I don't like that. You got this huge island kitchen here, which is great, but it doesn't really fit, right? You got the old Texas granite, dated, but I gotta say I like the high ceilings. I like that there's red brick that you're looking at from the view. That helps. But yeah, 12-foot ceilings, it looks like. Red oak hardwood floors. So it's upscale for 2013. It's a 2013 upscale house. And it looks clean. I mean, it's sellable. You know, it's a house you can buy, move in, and not have to do anything it looks like, at least from the pictures. So it has to pass aesthetics. Here's the 4th floor, and I wish I would have a view of the 4th floor. Those are your neighbors. So you see, it's like kind of a village appeal. That's your lap pool. Yeah, right next to the lake. Very nice. So it's walking distance easily, as you can see here. So house looks good on the condition. And I think that it's a fair asking price at $476,950. So the location is good, price is fair, it's a fair price, aesthetics is good, and then the condition. So the next step after this would be to schedule a showing and actually go look at this house. And that's where I come into play. So let's look at it. And then after the condition and you check that, we would then do, or we could do simultaneously, is the investigative part. That's the I, and that would be looking at the deed restrictions of the house, the HOA restrictions and covenants, to make sure that there's not any rules in there that you're not going to like, and that's going to cause you to throw your arms up and be like, why did I buy here? This place sucks. Big brother type of stuff, right? So you want to look at the HOA and that stuff. And we also want to look at, see if we can see what the previous title commitment is, make sure there's no encumbrances on title up at least during the point of their ownership, or up to the point where they took ownership. So yeah, that's what we're trying to do here. But yeah, these homes sell for as much as $500,000 for the biggest version house, which is around 3,000 square foot. This one's at close to 3,000. So if you get it for $476,000, you may have about $25,000 in market equity. All right, so now let's go out and see what else we got. And my goal is to wrap this up in about 10 minutes. But I want to look and see, what else we got. Remember, these are all back on market. So these are properties that came back on the market because they were most likely under contract. There's A-Leaf. Let's shoot up to Memorial. Not really anything there. Spring Valley Village. Not really anything there. We looked at all that. Okay, Apple and Nvidia are building a complex here, so that's good for a property like this one. Let's see here. Exxon was no Chevron. Chevron's building out here in the Hockley area their headquarters. So Fairfield Village could be a good one. Let's see. 15103 Petal Rose Court. Let's take a closer look. $335,000. 2,112 square foot in size. 9,500 square foot lot. Wow, that's a big lot. Built in 2006, which was a long ass time ago. 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath. 3-bed, 2.5 bath. 335. Let's take a look at the property archive. So it went option pending, and then it came back on the market. Just 22 days on the market. Back on the market. It's sold previously for $217,000 back in 2016. Sold quick within 8 days. Before that, sold for $165,000 in 23 days. So it's got a historic track record of selling fast. Well, this is rentals actually here. Rentals, $2,300 for rentals. Okay, let's look at the house. Well, let me see. Let's look at the lot location first, because that's remember, location first. Okay, so zooming in, let's take a look at where it's at. So we can see that it's a bigger lot than most of the houses here. Most of the lots. We have huge ones right there. Those are the prize lots, but these ones are fairly big. These ones are fairly big. I'm going to approve this location because it is off of Winsome Rose Court, and it's generally in the middle of the subdivision. It's not like on the outside like these are, and that's a bad thing, generally speaking, because of the commercial potential out here, commercial out here. So we want to be on an interior lot. We have a little park right there. All right, not backed up to Cypress Wood. Not backed up to Fairfield Place Drive, so that's good. So that's pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to approve the lot location. We also want to pay attention to the school zones, right? So Alt Elementary, is that an A-rated school or B-rated, whatever? It's an A-rated school. Good. Good girl, good girl. All right, now we go to Solyards. Let's see, Solyards is good. A-rated, good girl. Bridgeland High School, let's see about this one. That's good. All right, excellent. Okay, so schools are good. How about the flood zone? All right, flood map. All right, it's in the X zone, so no flooding to worry about there. All right, so location, check. Now let's see about price. Okay, so price, we're going to see. So this is in Fairfield Village South. Let's take a look. Fairfield Village South. Reset. Go to Fairfield Village South. All right, let's see. Fairfield Village South. Boom. There we go. Go right to it. 25 sales. Right in this region. Okay. So 25 sales, 15 active. So inventory is 3.6 months, which is generally low inventory. Pending rates kind of weak though. 1 out of 5 available for sale is pending. Okay. 98% of list price what they sell for. They're currently running about 1.4% year-over-year sale price increasing. Built around 2008. So these are old homes. 52 days on the market, so they are taking a while to sell, and the median sale price here is $455,000. So given that they're asking $335,000, they're already about $120,000 in the black. So that's not bad. I mean, just for the region, that means your shoppers, your home shoppers today are in the mid 400s looking at homes here. But we want comps exactly for this house. So this home is about 2,112 square foot. So I'm going to put an arbitrary range that makes a little sense of 1,800 to 2,300 square foot. And see what we get. Well, we only get 3 houses. We only get 3, so let's go back 9 months. Okay, so that's better. So we can see there's a pretty even distribution of sales here. We got 3 bedrooms generally over here, 4 bedrooms right here, but the home size is what makes the value here. So this home is priced at 355, right? The median home size, the median sale price is $345,000. So, and the median home size of what sells is 2,056 square feet. So this one being at 2,111 square foot is on the larger side. So that's good. So we know it's at least worth 345. If it's in good condition and the aesthetics are good, we can get as much as 378 on this. So the price of 355 is actually really good. What's the per square foot? 158. So at 158, that's well below the market value per square foot, 182. So we are in good shape with this house. So now it comes down to, so the pricing is good. Let's check the condition, or let's check the aesthetics. That's what it is, aesthetics. All right. So we got 2 big trees, so oak trees in front of the house. That's fabulous, but they failed to do anything with it. It's muddy, it's gross. Like, what's with these rocks here? It looks like quicksand. This is very bad, but they totally blew an opportunity. This could look amazing. The branches need to be trimmed back. There needs to be some lighting. Looks like they attempted at a lighting fixture here, but they need to have some good lighting. They need to have some good landscaping work done, because that could be amazing. Okay, so then let's look a little further. So the concrete looks okay. It's pretty level. There's one panel here that's messing up a little bit, but not too bad. The 2-car garage door is a little weak looking with that, cream color, but that's very mid-2000s. Red brick is great. Looks like a 25 to 30 year roof. You got your cement board here on the exterior. So, and then it looks like you have some gutters as well. So that's good. Sidewalks are good. Cul-de-sac street is good. Neighbor next door is doing solar panels. So they're hipsters. Hopefully this house doesn't have solar panels. Don't want to deal with that. The red brick is great. Okay, so far so good. Walking in. Okay, right off the bat, I would take this out and I would put a nice wrought iron rail on this. That would really bring up or really elevate the interior aesthetics. But as it shows right now, so this flooring here is not too bad. It's a neutral color, but it should not be tile, right? Nowadays, in the 2024, 2025 days, this whole floor should be all uniform. And if it was, it would change the interior aesthetics hugely, and the vibes, the emotional connection people would have would be grander and greater. If this was wrought iron rail all the way up, and then this was a continuous floor, it would be a knockout. Okay. As well, we have carpet on the stairs. Not good. Okay, that shit needs to go. That shit needs to go, and it needs to be like wood floors. Okay. The color of the walls is terrible. It should be white. We don't need to be having this kind of like, I don't know what that is, some kind of gray. Windows are dual pane. That's good. But it looks like the floors are some sort of like plank, like luxury vinyl plank, perhaps, or it's like a vinyl plank flooring. It doesn't look laminate, so that's good. So here is your living room. The fireplace looks like an afterthought. It is gas though, so that's good. It looks like an afterthought. This is so 2006, looking all this. That floor, yuck. This floor is not too bad. I mean, for the mid 300s, like that's a perfectly fine floor. You don't have to do much with that. But the kitchen needs some work. It could just use some paint. So fortunately, those cabinets are actually perfectly fine. The uppers anyways. This needs to be a hood vent. Okay, electric, Jesus, that sucks. You got gas running in the house, but you can't have gas on the stove. What's going on? Maybe that can be fixed. French door fridge is great. Got a little coffee bar area there. But see, these cabinets are actually pretty good. Just paint them and put like nice little knobs on them. Like that'll look very nice. Countertops look like a silestone, which is basic as hell. Recommend putting quartz countertops there. Textured ceilings, like nobody likes those. Need some can lights throughout here. That would update it nicely. The flooring, I'd say the grouts are black. Those should match. Like see here in the middle of the floor, they match. That's how it's supposed to be. So that it needs a good cleaning to get those back to looking fresh. So here we are looking at some more. This must be the primary bedroom. So you got the garden style jetted tub here. Walk-in shower, which is small, but not a deal breaker for this price range. Dual sinks with a single vanity. That's fine. So this actually looks good. You don't have to do anything with that. The closet is ungodly small, unfortunately. A lot of cheap carpet here. What's with the swirls? Like, why would you do that? Nobody does that. It's supposed to be like vertical lines, from the vacuum cleaner, not this swirly stuff. I don't know why they did that. Look they did it again here. What is that? That is weird. Here it is again. Swirls. That's dumb. They need to go fix that stuff. Okay. Basic. There's more swirls. Basic. Ceiling height is good. 9 feet. Backyard is nice and large. We noticed that. Yeah, it's got good backyard appeal, actually. These like dormers up here. They're hip roofs. There's no gables except on the front there. Big backyard, oak tree in the middle. Plenty of room for a swimming pool. So this house is in Fairfield, y'all. Fairfield Village. Good looking house, $335. It's actually cheap. And I think that if you do some nice light work inside, it's going to look great. Huge lot, good size home, 2,100 square foot. That's actually the median size of what sells in Houston. 2006 build, so it's just under 20 years old. Check that roof though, because that roof could be a problem if it's the original roof. Hopefully it's not. No, it says roof replaced in 2024. Okay, thank God. Carpet replaced in 2023. That carpet looked a little rough. I don't know. Is that true? Anyways, I mentioned what I would change on that, which is probably going to cost $20,000 to $25,000 to fix some of that stuff. But seriously, y'all, this could be a good opportunity. Chevron, and not just Chevron, but a lot of companies moving in over here. So you got to stay on top of that. Okay, so here's some stuff over here off of Louetta, $395,000. Take a look here on a house. $395,000, 4 bedroom, 3.5 bath, nearly 3,000 square foot. But let's look at location, because remember that's the first thing in my acronym, location. This one is not going to work. This is Louetta. It's a very noisy road, very noisy. So much so you're going to need earplugs. No, not really, but it's noisy as hell. So your backyard, lots of noise pollution. I don't know what this is here. Satellite. Is that like a big church or something? Probably, or a school? I'm not really sure. Not really sure, but it backs up to it. Not a good thing. You want to be on an interior lot, cul-de-sac preferably. So that's not going to work. All right, let's go back to map. So we can exit out. That's how fast it can be. You see something like that backed up to commercial, cross it off. No reason to keep looking. Every single day, back on market opportunities, price drop opportunities, new listing opportunities. You don't have time to be looking at stuff that sucks, okay? Like where the location sucks. That's why location is key. Okay, this one here. All right, this one is not on Champion Forest Drive, doesn't back up to it. It's on a cul-de-sac. That can work. $414,000, 5 bedroom, 3 bath, lots of bedrooms. So let's take a look at this one because the lot location is good. I'd prefer it to face north and south, but at least it's kind of facing north and south. So this one at 414, let's take a closer look. Let's price it out. The interior looks nice. It's Champions area, Memorial Northwest. Let's take a look at that Memorial Northwest. These are back on market properties. These are properties that came back on the market. So contract busted. So that's why we're looking at these. Okay. So Memorial Northwest. Memorial Northwest. Yeah. Here you go. Northwest. Boom. What's this one? Northwest Estates. Okay. So see, here we are. We're looking just in this subdivision. That's all we care about right now. This house was about 3,000 square foot. So I'm going to do home size 2,700 to 3,300 square foot. All right. So here we got 4 bedrooms and 5 bedrooms. We can see that the 4 bedrooms here and the 5 bedrooms. So having an extra bedroom doesn't really do anything for the value. They're pretty much the same. So the median sale price for a home of this size is $430,000. They're asking $495. I think they're $490. What are they off? What are they asking here? $414. Wow. Okay. $414. I don't know why I was thinking $499. So they're asking less than the median sale price, which means there's an arbitrage opportunity here of about $21,000 on this house. We do have an outlier that's down here in the 200s, which is messing with my numbers. So I'm going to go to advanced, and I'm going to remove that here, 300,000 minimum. So see, it removes it. Okay, now, okay. So based on the home size, based on the neighborhood, the price of $419, that's what it is, $419, $414, and per square foot $131. Both fall under the market value numbers. So it has an equity position because it's below median sale price. It has market equity because it's well below the max sale price in the range. So I like this price point. Okay, now that the price looks good and the location looks good, let's look at condition. Let's look at the pictures. So condition is the next thing. Now this one actually has a really good looking condition. We've got cabinets, lots of cabinets. We've got a little coffee bar here. All right. So the exterior, they've just painted it white. It's like, I don't know. It's like they just. Why would you do that? I'm not a fan of all white on a house like this. On some houses, yes, but this one, no. I don't see why you would do that. It's not. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. That roof looks a little rough. I don't see any gutters. That's not good. So that's a negative to me. Looks like luxury vinyl plank. Walking in, you've got your wrought iron railing staircase. So that's nice. Roomy dining room. Kitchen's a good size. I could live with that. Okay. Remember, we're asking $414 on this, so it's not too bad. Got a nice big sink. Subway tile backsplash. This is very 5 years ago style house. Let me see, looking at things. Okay, so we have an electric cooktop. I do like the hood vent, but I wish it was gas. What the hell? Also, this is a bad spot to be. It's on the edge, so all your grease and stuff's gonna splash out here, cause slip problems, floor staining problems. It's also, you have a handle on a hot pot sticking out this way, and some kid runs by and knocks it over, and yeah, it's dangerous. This is a very dangerous spot. Would not like that. And that's pretty much a deal breaker, honestly. There's not really anything you can do about that. Otherwise, the spaces are pretty good. The remodel is generally really good, actually. It is rent ready. It's a house that I would go after. For $414, yeah. It's a good house. That tree is really close. This tree is really close to the foundation. You got to be careful about that. But otherwise, it's a good house. The roof looks a little beat, though. My biggest problem, the kitchen layout. I like the kitchen size, but not the layout. The layout is bad. 1975 built house, 10,000 square foot house, or lot, 3,100 square foot house. How old's that roof? Let's see. AC condenser 2022. Replaced windows 2024. Relisted with new roof May 2025. Really? It didn't look that good. It looked kind of beat. Okay, anyways, this is a good one. I like it at 414. I think it could be a gem for you. It could be an opportunity for you. If you see anything you like, let me know. Let's schedule a showing. My number's at the bottom right there. I'd say one more house, and then we can call this a night. Okay, let's see what we got over here. Something in Oak Creek Village. Let's take a look. 3834 Glade Ridge Drive. Glade Ridge Drive, Oak Creek Village. All right, let's take a look here. Good looking curb appeal. Definitely looks 70s, right? 1971. Makes sense. 79 days on the market. What's the situation here? It was pending a contract, and it came back on the market today. They're asking just 315, 950. Not too shabby. 2,400 square foot house on a 9,300 square foot lot. Big lot, decent size house, so on the larger side, and they're asking just 316 or 131 a square foot. Not bad. 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. Gotta appreciate that. Curb appeal is pretty good with the color scheme on the outside, so I can definitely appreciate that. Let's see. So yeah, let's look at the lot location, because location is what we want to do. Zooming in, zooming in, zooming in. Okay, so it is on Glade Ridge, which is an interior lot, almost north and south facing. Backs up to just more houses. Glade Ridge is a through street. So what are we looking at here? Oh, that's a school. Okay, so Glade Ridge goes through a school. So the house is located on the school, same street as the school. I still am okay with that. Yeah, I'm still good with that because it's not like, cars are going to be waiting in line to pick up their kids going all the way back here. So that is a good distance. You could almost argue that being on Glade Ridge could give you a faster access to Stubner Airline instead of having to go down Falling Creek Lane or Falling Creek Drive to Cypress, and then this way you can actually cut through here to get to it. But then again, that's what everybody else is doing as well. Even these people, they're taking Glade Ridge. So I don't know. I could still go with it. I could still go with that. So I'm gonna approve it because I think this price is just so good. So I'm gonna approve that. But let's take a look at. So location's good, but let's take a look at price. Oh, one more thing we want to do is look at the flood map. Let's make sure it's not in a flood zone, and it's not. It's in the X500 or it's the X zone, so it's not in a special flood hazard. Okay, so now let's look at the financing or the pricing of it. So it's Oak Creek Village. So we're gonna go look at Oak Creek Village. We've been streaming for a little over an hour. Oak Creek Village. Oak Creek Village here. Alvin, no, we want Houston. There we go. Streaming for just over an hour, and we're about to close it up. So you'll get pretty much hour to hour and a half streams here searching for properties. And there's a lot more. I didn't even get to the woodlands or nothing, but there's only so much we could do. And I generally look in the areas that my clients look. Here I don't really sell houses over here. I used to, actually, when I worked for Gary Green, I used to sell houses over here all the time. Now I'm central. But nevertheless, I still look for deals everywhere. And I still occasionally do sell something over here. Anyway, so this is this subdivision, which is perfect because the house is like right there. And so this subdivision, the median sale price is actually $283,500 from 12 sales. Homes built around 1975, but the area is increasing in value with a year-over-year sale price change of positive 10.3%. They sell for about 95% of list price, so you got to come in at a 95% offer. And the pending rate's actually quite strong here. Almost 1 out of 2 available for sale is going under contract. So they're asking what, 315 on this, right? 315. So that's not bad. That's not too far away from the median sale price. It's not an arbitrage opportunity, but there is significant market upside on this of about what $65,000 of market upside, because your market value for this region is $380,000, which is right about there. So you have all these sales below that. So if you're buying a house in this subdivision, you want to be at or below, preferably $380,000. This one being at 315, that's cool. But let's look at the home size because it's what 2,400, right? So let's go 2,100 to 2,700. Okay, so we get a pretty good size population. 9 sales, but the median sale price dropped to $277,000 or $121 a square foot, taking 22 days to sell. So that means this house, I would go in at about 277 because that's right in the middle. But the house having remodel work and all that stuff done, I think 277 is actually cheap for it. At 277, 121 a square foot, I think you'd be super safe buying this house at 277. You're asking 315, try to get it for 277. It's not bad advice because that's the median sale price for this criteria. That's the middle number. I probably would limit myself to going up to whatever these ones are at. See, so you have this cluster here. I would probably stick to right around here at the most. And that looks like that's going to be about 335, 345. So at 315, it's even below that. So yeah, 315. So given the condition it's in, you could actually do it at their list price. But I would at least put the offer in at 277. Yeah. So pricing looks fine. Their asking price is not stupid. That's the main thing. So then you go in, you got the 2-car garage, double wide driveway, it looks like, maybe single wide. Curb appeal is good. Right? Trees over it's nice. White interior, luxury vinyl plank. I like that the planks are wider. They almost look like natural wood, so that's good. So it's got the wood beams, the can lights, white on white on white, which is perfectly fine. It's very 2020, 2021, but that's not a big deal. It's safe. Stack stone fireplace, that's okay. Got a bar area, a breakfast area. Your kitchen is kind of weak because look at this. I mean, those cabinets are black, but they're definitely not original. But that's like a circa probably late 90s cabinets. Quartz countertops, that's good. But again, you got this cooktop right where kids will be running around. At least you have a little bit of an edge there, but a little bit of space. So it's a horseshoe kitchen. Looks like on the small side. Primary bedroom looks good. Just one window though. It's kind of like a jail cell. Dual sinks, neutral tones. Looks like we have 2 shower heads here, so that's good. I like that. Got a vanity area. Carpet on the stairs, yuck. But for this subdivision, because it appears that the subdivision is pretty much all electric. So for this subdivision, it's a good price, $315. Yeah, good house, good house. So that one looks good. I would go for that one if you're looking in that region. Okay, that's it for tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Looks like we had a good few viewers here on the live stream. Thanks for the comments. Appreciate that, everyone. And jumping off, though, I'm Justin Braden, team leader of the Realtix team at Compass. And just so I can show you real quick, this is me here. Right there. See, so I have 4.97 out of 5 stars. Almost a perfect 5-star review. These are my for sales right here, for rent, my recently sold this year, reviews, check those out. So again, that's har.com/Justin Braden. Check out that, and you can see more about me. I'm happy to come work for you and make sure that to get you the best deal, help you buy a home safely by the numbers, not just by the numbers, but also a great contract with the perfect terms that are going to set you up for success in that purchase. So you are safe in your inspections and your appraisal, all the checks that you got to do on the way to closing. Perfect situation. I've got you covered. So there's my number at the bottom. Shoot me a text, give me a call, and let's get your journey going. It was my pleasure. Have a good night.